Good afternoon, everyone. So it's Brian here. I hope everyone's getting on well today, and you're very welcome to this week's YouTube video. We're committed to uh, sharing the content that I have learned and delivering that once a week. Try to get this done every Monday, and I hope that if you like this, that you can like the channel or maybe you can subscribe to it. I'd very much appreciate that. So really what I'm trying to do is direct my content today to those who are self-employed, those business owners who may be stuck at 5 figures and want to go to 6 figure incomes. And sometimes you can't really figure out how to go to that next level. But I want to show you something today that might encourage you, might help you go to that next level, might help you break that ceiling, and hopefully this will be a game changer for you. Because remember, if you're one of those who are stuck in that position, I was in the exact same place you were only a few years ago, and that short space of time has gone so quick, and the time's going to go by anyway. So if you're going to put in some effort, put it in straight away. Don't just sit back, rest on your laurels. Just go for it. And all this will start to come together for you as you work along. But anyway, let me ask you the question. How many of you here watching are working 40, 50, 60, 70? Some people are working 75, 80-hour weeks. Really long weeks. And you ask yourself the question that, am I grinding more? Am I grinding more by doing more? Am I benefiting more by putting in the more hours? But the truth is, most of you end up being exhausted. And when I sit down with business owners and ask them that question, how many hours they're working and have they hit a particular ceiling, they all answer me probably the same thing. They'll say to me that, I need to work harder. I need to get more clients. I need to do more marketing. But that belief system that they have genuinely believe in and that they've created, that's the exact belief that's keeping them stuck. And how do I know it's keeping them stuck? Because I was in that same position earlier. I was in that position years ago, stuck at a particular income level, not knowing how to break through. Now, thankfully, by getting the right mentor, that helped me go forward. And that's what I want to do today, is be able to share this content with you so that hopefully it'll bring some value to you in your business and that you can break through that ceiling and move to the next level. So look, here's what I've probably learned over the years working with so many different people, is that there is an underlying belief that each and every one of us operate with. It's the underlying belief that's really running that show. And that belief is, for a lot of us, that more work equals more money. Now, I'm not saying to you today that hard work doesn't matter. It does matter, because you do have to put in the time. You do have to put in that effort. It will always get the results. But the belief that hard work alone, and let me state that again, that hard work alone will get you 6 figures. It will get you 6 figures, but it also is a belief that is quietly killing your income. It's keeping you at a particular level, it's keeping you at a particular plateau, and it's not letting you move forward. Think about it. If you believe that more work equals more money, then that's not going to work for you. Your only lever to increase your income is to increase your hours. And you can't scale that. You can't systemize that, and therefore you become trapped. I hope this is really resonating with some people today as they watch this, because I don't want you to be in a position where you feel trapped, because there is a way out. But here's the truth. This is what really happens when you shift that belief. When you start to believe in your value, when you start to believe in your expertise, and when you start to believe the way you package things and the way you deliver that expertise, that's what creates an income. That's what creates change for you in your business. You start asking a different set of questions. And instead of how do I do more, you start asking, how do I work smarter? How do I package this in a different way that serves more people? And you ask yourself, how do you create that leverage? And that's the shift in the belief that creates a shift in the behavior. And the shift in the behavior creates the results. Now, this isn't just motivational. This is it's how it actually works. Remember, your shift in your belief creates a shift in your behavior, and your shift in your behavior creates the results that you want in your life. That's what it's all about. And remember, when you look at that bank balance every Monday or Friday, whatever it might be, when you look at that, that really gives you the results. It tells you in black and white, is it in the black or is it in the red? And sometimes when you see those results, it's really not a nice place to be in. But remember, we can all change. We can all change those behaviors. We can change those beliefs, and we can change those results that we're currently receiving. I suppose I just want to share with you, just so that I can kind of help and make this sound a bit more concrete to you, and just to give you a real life example. And the real life example is myself. I have a business here in Ireland, or in Galway, in the west of Ireland, where I sell pianos, and I'm also a qualified piano tuner. And at this stage, I've tuned over 10,000 pianos. But in the early days of my piano tuning business, I started charging clients about €80, and then it went from 80 to 100, and then it went from 100 to 120. But I really got stuck at the €120 mark, and I was finding that I was driving all over the county, doing a lot of piano tunings, but I was really, really trading time for money. I was, gone all the hours of the day, and I really wasn't getting the time that I wanted to spend with my family either, or with loved ones. And the truth is, I had bills to pay, and I needed to keep working as hard as I could. But I started to realize one day, I was actually looking at a YouTube video, and I can't think what the talk was, but basically what I explained a few minutes ago, like, working harder was not smarter. Now, it wasn't saying that working harder doesn't benefit, because it does benefit you, but there's right ways and wrong ways to work smarter. So I ended up receiving mentorship, and the mentor had said to me, bring your prices from €120 to €250. Now, at first, this was alien to me, and with every particle of my body, I was refusing this. But he said, stick with it. Just please do what I'm asking you to do. And he asked me to increase the value that I was bringing to my clients when I would tune the piano. So basically, when you would tune the piano, you would give a basic piano service. But for me to charge €250, what was I going to bring? So what I decided to do is that when I would go to tune a piano, I would hoover the interior of the piano out perfect. I would lubricate all the moving parts of the piano action. I would lubricate all the moving parts of the interior of the piano. I would polish down the strings of the piano. I would get out some Brasso, which is a brass cleaner, and I would polish the hinges of the piano, I would polish the locks of the piano, and I would polish the brass pedals, so they absolutely looked wonderful. And then I would continue to tune the piano. After tuning the piano, then I would hoover again around the surface of the piano, and I would get a special polish that I have, and I would polish the external surface of the piano, so it looked like a brand new piano when I was finished. And I also gave the client the opportunity to purchase that spray that we have. What that did is it created a huge level of value. I used to get clients coming back to me and said that their piano sounded fantastic, but that the piano also looked fantastic. So straight away, I had the client value. I wasn't working much harder, but I was getting better money for what I was doing. And I would do 4 of those in a day, which would have brought in €1,000, and I would have this done in maybe 6 hours. Where before I would have to probably work double the time, maybe triple in some cases, be traveling all around the country and not saving that time. And now I can spend that time with the family, or I can spend it with friends or with loved ones. And that's what I'm trying to share, that example, by bringing you more value to your business, by working smarter and not working a lot harder, that you can make those changes. But I had to learn those set of beliefs. I had to learn that behaviors had to change. And it was through the mentorship that I received that allowed me to change those things. I really hope this is resonating with you today, because I just want to see somebody in their business say to themselves that I need to make that change so that I can move forward in my business. So look, I suppose there's one thing that I'd love for you to do this week. I'd love you to take out a blank piece of paper. I'd love you to write out this question: is what are my beliefs? What am I holding on to? And what are my beliefs about, money? What are my beliefs about work that might be keeping me stuck? Now, that was one of the very first questions that was asked of me when I first received mentorship. It took me a full weekend to be able to answer that. So please don't judge yourself. Don't be harsh on yourself. Just take the time to write this out, because it's amazing. You might look and stare at that blank piece of paper for an hour, and you might see you're getting no results. But it's amazing. You were born of God, who was a creator. You were born to create something very, very special. And it's amazing. When you see that blank sheet in front of you, and when you start to think about that question, you will slowly but surely start to put the answers down, and you will find out where you're losing a lot of time, where you're trading time for money, where your beliefs are and where you're actually stuck at 5 figures, and we'll be able to bridge that gap then to go from 5 figures to 6 figures. As I said, don't judge yourself, don't rush it, just observe it. Observe the results that you get, okay? So look, before I conclude this video, I hold a 5-day free coaching class. It's for 30 to 40 minutes. It'll take up 5 days throughout the week. We present this via Zoom. If you're interested, please send me a message on the link below. You can DM me at any time. And really what it's to do, it's specifically designed to help those businesses that are at 5 figures, that are stuck there and want to go to 6 figures. As I said, it'll take 30 to 40 minutes for 5 days a week, and it'll give you an idea how to bridge the gap and where you need to go with your business. I hope this content has been of value to you today. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Please like, subscribe to the channel, and I'm going to be putting this content out every single week. It'll be Mondays a day I put out the content. And it's all going to be about mindset and business and growth and what it actually takes to scale a business for those of us who are self-employed and go from 5 figures to 6 figures and beyond. Anyway, between now and then, I wish you the very best. Thank you so much for everything, and God bless.